I got to thinking this morning, and one thing that was really on my mind was Dee Dee and the Pitre family. Now, I want you guys to take this for exactly what I'm saying and not overthink it, not overread into it, not underread into it. Just take it for exactly what I'm saying. When you think about Gypsy's charges, and she pled guilty to second-degree murder, right? I feel as though, although this was a very political thing, I think possibly if the family would have spoken out at that time, maybe she would not have gotten only 10 years. But it doesn't seem like the family was speaking out during the trial. And I do feel as though at some point, you know, one of the sisters did say, I want to say it's Dorla, did make a post saying that Claudia had Dee Dee's ashes. But there's been a misconception since the original documentary came out back in January or February that her ashes were thrown down the toilet. And I just don't feel like there's been enough emphasis on the fact that people loved Dee Dee, right? There were people that cared about Dee Dee. And that kind of bothers me. Because the reason why I feel like people have believed everything Gypsy said, including the media, is because no one else has spoken out to counteract that. And even when it comes to the court and her going to, not going to trial and getting a plea deal, I think if the family would have spoken out or tried to stop it or had something to say or maybe wrote to the courts or, kind of speaking their piece and how, Dee Dee was done and stuff like that, maybe there would have been a different outcome. Maybe there wouldn't have just been a plea deal. Because, the courts generally do take into account how the family feels. And I feel like that is partially what is lacking in this situation. Now, I personally haven't had a sibling pass away, so I'm not speaking from a place of understanding. But I know one thing, I did have something happen to one of my brothers that was really traumatic for my family. And it's actually almost really hard to even speak about it because it was so devastating for me. My brother was dating this girl and he was with her for a while and he decided to break up with her. And she kept coming by my mom's house. And my brother didn't want to speak to her. He had told her it was over. He didn't want to be involved with her. And she would get upset. And I didn't know, and he didn't know, that she had filed kidnapping charges against him. She claimed that on Valentine's Day, he kidnapped her. Now, my brother had broken up with her back in January. And she rented a hotel room. She stayed in a hotel room. And she claims that he kidnapped her. Now, I know he didn't because he was at home that day that she claimed that. But we couldn't prove it because it's not like we had him on camera. It's not like, anything like that. And so I kept trying to, at the time, we didn't know that she did it. Anyway, my brother got into a bad car accident and he called 911. And on the scene, they arrested him. They said, you have a warrant out for your arrest. Did you know that? Blah, 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 blah. And it ended up being kidnapping charges. Like, for me, it was devastating because to know that some woman did this to my little brother, knowing I knew that he was innocent because I had been with him on that day. And he was at my mom's house the whole day. And luckily he got into that car accident, because come to find out, it was a DBA, bring him in dead or alive. And when I heard that, my heart sunk. Like, I was excruciating. Like, just the thought that, what if it would have been my mom's house that they came for him? And, you know, what if, you know, they thought he made the wrong move and they would have shot and killed him? What if that would have happened? I was so devastated, and I couldn't believe that the world we lived in, something like that could have happened. But I was actually grateful he got into that car accident and that happened, and they, you know, took him into custody safely. But it took us months to get him out. And I was searching and searching and searching for proof that this girl was lying. And I ended up Googling her name. No, not Googling her name. I ended up going on her Instagram page, and I saw on February 14th, she was in a fashion show in Atlanta at the time. And I was able to go on YouTube, and the whole fashion show was on there. And I had put all of that together with like text messages between my brother and I, and like text messages between my mom and I, like that day. And then like some of his phone records from that day, like I just pulled from the phone company and stuff like that. And, you know, I went through hoops, and I diligently searched for information to make sure that I could prove my brother's innocence. And then, you know, even like the hotel, I was like, do you guys have like, I know that this was like a couple of months ago, but like, do you guys have any like camera footage of that day, like showing that you guys have no footage of him on there and stuff like that? And I was calling like diligently, speaking to their security and stuff like that. Like, I went out of my way, and you should, for your family. So don't even give me a pat on the back for that, because that's something I should do as his sister. And I was able to also pull like the text messages from her phone, from my brother's phone, where she was threatening him and she was harassing him and my mom that if he didn't call her, she was going to do X, Y, and Z. And all of these like crazy text messages she was sending my mom about, you need to have your son call me and blah, 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 blah. So I submitted all of that. They ended up giving him a bond for less than $10,000. And in Atlanta, kidnapping is one of the 7 deadly sins, which is punishable to life in prison. So to get a $10,000 bond, obviously they saw the proof, but obviously they have to go through the whole process or whatever. So they gave him that bond. He ended up getting out. They ended up throwing the charges away. And I wish they would have charged her for making a false report, but they didn't. But I did everything that I could to get my brother out. And I can't understand why Dee Dee's family, I get it, it's their niece, but at the same time, to know the way she passed, why are creators out here having a louder voice than them? I would have did everything in my power to get justice for my sibling. And I can't fathom why they wouldn't. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, like, I mean, I know a loss is hard, but, you know, that would just give me the wind underneath my wings to fight for justice. And now to know that there is a child involved in this situation now, and this person is a monster, and you don't know what they're going to do, it just makes me question the situation. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't even like crying on film or anything like that. But, you know, that's just really been on my mind. And you guys drop your thoughts down below. You know, if I'm wrong, you guys can say that. I'm okay with that, you know, because I don't have the answers to everything. I'm not right about everything. This is just my opinion and how I feel. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great new year. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now.